Starting on page 65. There is plenty of sensuous melody and a profusion of runs, trills, and double stops. Bihari must have heard Paganini and tried to copy his style in such a passage as the following. The melodies and dances are short, and there is hardly any development from a musical point of view, for the violinist would repeat them again and again and trust to his momentary inspiration for the improvised flourishes. At times the style seems to be a parody of the music of that period, as for instance in the following passage. Both Bihari and Cermak, however, let themselves go when they came to the Czardas. No matter how highbrow they tried to become in their serious works, they would always end up their piece with a traditional dance, as in the following example by Cermak. We're on page 67. This melody seems to possess a special significance for the gypsies, and an old man once told me that it is a magic tune. We are on page 68. One of her melodies, called Sarabogar, Sarga Sarabogar, tells the story of the merry cockchafer in the summer heat, flitting about joyfully as though his life would never turn to woe. Little does he think of the pitiless winter that will descend upon the earth and change all his happiness to sorrow. Cockchafer, yellow cockchafer, I do not ask when summer shall come, nor how long my life shall last. I only ask when I shall be my love's. Play that again, please. We're on page 73. Gradually a certain order came into my chaotic mind, and I began to divide up the Hungarian folk tunes into groups, and I would build up my rhapsodies following a logical order. A rhapsody means, according to its Greek origin, a sewing together of songs, and the minstrel must sew them together so that the emotional excitement of his audience grows in intensity as the piece progresses. Rhapsodies always start with slow, sad music, meandering on in endless melancholy, for the Magyar enjoys himself in the weeping, and the first approach to his soul may only be made through these melodies, which call up in his mind visions of tragic battles long ago. The lasso of the rhapsody is a slow melody full of restless notes, followed by long pauses. Phase is repeated again and again monotonously, and the long pauses lull our senses. Page 74. A great many slow Hungarian melodies are formed in this pattern, which must be a very ancient one, for we find the following in Matre's collection under the date 1553 to 1554. Played the lasso over and over again, my gypsy friend who was accompanying me on the cimbalom would suddenly wink at me and strike a major chord. Then the rhythm would become more martial and strict in tempo. At this point of the rhapsody, it is customary to use the sharply accentuated rhythm with a snap in it, the kind of snap we get in the Scotch song, "Comin' Through the Rye." This rhythm occurs so frequently in the Hungarian music that we must consider it a fundamental part of the Magyar idiom. The gypsies revel in it and beat it out triumphantly on their fiddles. According to Fox Strangeways, the rhythm is the same as one found frequently in Indian music. The following example is a characteristic one and taken from a melody which I have heard sung to improvised words. This rhythm, which is nearly always in 4/8, in its leaps and bounds often resembles the Asclepiad in Latin verse.
Okay.
Page 75. In a cafe where there was a good cimbalom player, I had little difficulty, for he would support my faltering bow. But out in the country, where the people danced around the solitary fiddler, one needed the force and concentration of a Hercules to play the following tune until the whole audience became galvanized into mad rhythm. Beginning reading on the bottom of page 75. As a relief from the fast rhythms of the Sardas, the gypsies taught me various melodies that they called bird songs. One of the most famous is always associated with the name of Remenyi, the celebrated gypsy violinist who played the Hungarian army into battle in the War of Liberation of 1848. Every gypsy prides himself on his playing of those bird songs, for it enables him to show off his powers of florid ornamentation. Page 130. I took out my fiddle and started to play Hulam zo Balaton, followed by Zarabogar, two tunes which should admit me to the innermost sanctum of the Magyar soul. Page 152, Chapter 17. Near Debrecen is the famous Hortobágy Plain, inhabited by the traditional herdsmen and cowboys, the land of the Fata Morgana, or Delibdab, as the Magyars call it.